guys, it's Abby, or By the Angel Books, and today I'm going to do a pretty big book haul, and I'm excited about it. I have a total of 21 books in this haul, and I actually got them all at the same day because my local library did this super duper cool thing where they had this huge book sale. They do it every year, and the last day you can get a grab bag for $10, and just as many books as you can fit in there you get for that $10. So I ended up getting 21, and it was an amazing deal, and I figured it out to each of these books was worth about 47 cents a piece, I think it was. I did get these like 2 months ago, but obviously my channel wasn't really a thing back then, and I'm still really excited that I got all of them. I'm not trying to brag in any way, I just thought this was really cool, and I know book hauls are fun to watch for me, so I thought it might be fun for other people to watch. So yeah, let's just get into it because this is going to be long, which means I'm not going to be able to explain the books very in detail themselves, so I will have all the Goodreads linked below. So the first book I have here is Dr. Franklin's Island by Anne Hallam, I think is how you say it. With this book you apparently have these 3 British conservationists, I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm really bad with words, and they are going on this like trip to be stationed in Ecuador, and then their plane crashes and these 3 are the only ones that are surviving, and they think they're on this island alone, and then they find out this mad scientist, Dr. Franklin's there, and like wants to use him as experiments, and it just sounds really creepy, and I'm intrigued. The next book is called Hurt Go Happy by Jenny Rohr, I think. And so essentially this book is about this girl named Joey who her mom, for whatever reason, she's deaf, but her mom won't let her learn ASL. I don't know why, but she just feels so trapped and on the outside and whatnot, and then she meets Dr. Charles and his little monkey chimpanzee things, and as you probably know, chimpanzees are like capable of ASL and a lot of cool things because they're very similar to us, and she just meets them and finds like a home with them, and it just sounds really cool. I'm very intrigued by deaf culture. My language for high school is going to be ASL, so this just seems really fascinating, and it's pretty short, so I feel like I'll fly through it. My next book I have here is Crosses by Shelley Stoher, I think is how you pronounce it. So essentially, I don't know very much about this, but it seems that it's about these 2 girls, Natalie and Katie, who meet in the bathroom, find out that they both do self-harm, and it seems really sad, but at the same time I think it's going to be a really good tragic tale of these 2 girls kind of helping each other out with their issues. And so the next book I have here is The Soloist by Steve Lopez, and I believe this is kind of like a non-fiction creative writing something or other. I believe it's the actual man himself telling his story, and he meets a famous violinist who he's like, this is freaking incredible, and he finds him on the street playing, but then he finds out he's mentally ill, and this, I believe it's Steve, helps the famous violinist get through his mental illness that he was too scared to like share because he's a celebrity and in a place of authority. And so yeah, that's this book. The next book I have here is Falling Under by Danielle Ullman. I'm so bad at names. This is about this girl named Mara who is just trying to overcome her tragic past, and she's on her pathway to being an artist, but she's still very fragile from it, and it's affected her quite a bit, and she meets this man named Hugo, and he kind of helps her through it is what I gather, and it just seems like it'll be kind of a just cute like bonding kind of story, and getting over your past and just, you know, looking out for the future, and yeah. The next book I have here is Reconstructing Natalie by Laura Jensen Walker. From what I've gathered about this, it's essentially just a breast cancer story about this girl who's trying to cope with it, and, you know, just going through all the procedures and whatnot that breast cancer sadly entails. It just seems like a really cool, you know, inspirational read, I suppose, like just staying strong in times of hardship. I feel like a lot of these books are about that. Maybe that's my thing. I love the cover, it's very interesting, and I'm excited. Next one is Beautiful by Cindy MC. I'm just gonna say that, I'm not even gonna try with her last name. If you want, again, Goodreads will be down below, but this just seems like just a girl in high school, you know, figuring out the true meaning of beauty. For whatever reason, I recognized this cover, and it was just like I grabbed it because we were about to go out, and I was like, oh, I can fit another book in, so yes, This next one is called First Impressions by Deborah White Smith, about this girl named Eddie who is playing Elizabeth in a production of Pride and Prejudice, and she seems to fall for the guy who's playing Mr. Darcy. While I haven't read Pride and Prejudice yet, I would really love to, and since I'm a super big theater geek and showmances are adorable, and I'm sure I'll like Pride and Prejudice, I would probably pick this up after Pride and Prejudice, but it seemed cute and I figured I'd just, you know, pick it up. It's 47 cents. The next book I have is Rooftops of Tehran by Mahab Saraji. I really don't know, I'm so sorry. But it's a book set in 1973 about the Iran Revolution, and it's just like love and rebellion and greatness from what I gathered. And I'm in the mood for this. I'm probably very much so going to enjoy it. Next book I have is Child Wonder by Roya Jacobson, and it has a really ugly sticker and it's bothering me, so I'm not going to hold this for now. But anyway, this book is supposedly about this little boy named Finn and his family, and he lives with his kind of distraught mom, and just all these things unravel, and the plot itself seemed kind of mediocre, but the thing that intrigued me is that it was written from the eyes of a kid. The next book I have here is She's Come Undone by Wally Lamb. Again, the sticker on this really bothers me, so I'm just going to put it down while I give the synopsis. It's essentially about this girl who gained a lot of weight as a teen and now is coping as an adult. It may seem kind of mediocre, but as somebody who is plus size and a teen, I feel like the knowledge I could gain from it would be very plentiful and would help me, I guess, with coping it with myself. The next book I have here is The Ha-Ha by Dave King. It's about a man named Howard who 30 years ago lost his ability to speak, read, and write, and essentially he felt useless until his sweetheart from way back when asked him to watch her son while she goes to rehab. The next book I have here is The Schwa Was Here by Neil Schusterman, and I have no idea what this is about, to be rather honest with you. It was total cover buy. It was just so weird and funky, and again, it was like 47 cents, so I was like, I want it! I read the synopsis, it didn't really make much sense, but I'm still pumped for when I'm in the mood. It just seems so strange, and I love it. Next book I have here is Facing the Music by Margaret Wiley. This is essentially about this girl who joins her older brother's band, and she's an amazing singer and she improves their sound, but he like really doesn't want her here, and it does seem really like teen angst drama, whatever. Maybe I won't be into it. I am debating actually whether or not I want to read this. I got it obviously on a whim like most of these books. Maybe I'll pick it up. It doesn't seem the most intrigued, but yes, I got this. The next book I have here is The Artichoke's Heart by Susan Sepley, and I just want to say I love the author's name. It's so cute. So yet again, I have another kind of coming to terms with weight kind of book. So first of all, what intrigued me about this is the main character is an eyebrow waxer, and she's evidently like the best eyebrow waxer ever, which whoever heard of a book that focuses on an eyebrow waxer as the main character? I just think that's really cool and I love it. Actually, she's like the best eyebrow waxer and she like really prides herself on that, but even herself and everybody else in the community can only focus on her weight, and I was like, oh, you know, but you're fat, so it seems like, you know, another kind of get past the social stigma book and kind of accept yourself. The next book I have here is Reality Check by Peter Abrams. Essentially, this is about this guy. He's a teenager who he's like perfect or whatever, and then, you know, his life starts to fall apart. Whoa, you know, that's not original at all. But anyway, his ex apparently goes missing and he decides he's gonna go off and find it. The only reason now again, I don't read suspense a bunch, but if I'm going to, I like the fact that this is blurbed by Stephen King, because essentially he's like, you know, king of horror and whatnot, so if I'm gonna read a suspense book, hopefully it's good, because it was blurbed by Stephen King. So next book I have here is Drop Dead, My Lovely by Alice Weiner. I got the sense that this is kind of like the TV show The Office, but with a detective agency, which The Office is one of my favorite TV shows, and if it's anything like that, like a comedic detective agency, I feel like I'll love it. The next book I have here is Orange Rhymes with Everything by Adrienne McKenty. So this book follows an Irish girl and an Irish man. The girl lives in Ireland and the man lives in a mental hospital in New York, and that's kind of the gist of it, of what I know. Essentially the man could be her dad and they kind of are figuring things out. I don't know a ton about this book. I just liked the whole scene of the cover. I thought it was interesting. Next thing I have here is The Same Sweet Girls by Cassandra King. I don't know too much about it, but I do love the cover, and basically what I've gathered is it's just a very good portrayal of friendship in a very large women's squad of friendship, whatever you want to call it. I love books about friendship. It's one of my favorite themes to read about in books, because friendship, like, everybody talks about like OTB's romantic, but friends in books are, if they're written well, they just, oh, I love it. I love it. So next book I have here is The Deep End of the Ocean by Jacqueline Mitchard. It's essentially about a family dealing with a missing child, which seems like it's gonna be really sad. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to handle it because I feel like I'll get really emotional with it, but again, enlightening. And my very last book I have here is America by E.R. Frank. This one is about a boy in the inner city who he's very sassy, and something about his past leads him to want to try and commit suicide. Well, it doesn't go through because he's the protagonist, and he gets sent to a mental hospital, and he, you know, deals with his problems there. And this book is supposed to have beautiful writing, and it alternates between the present, his time at the hospital, and his past, which I think is cool. I really like non-chronological books because they're different and unique, and it's fun to read. So yes, they're America by E.R. Frank. So that concludes my big book haul. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it wasn't too long. I hope you were intrigued. I hope. I know none of these are like popular books per se, and I feel like a lot of them kind of follow the similar theme. Sorry, that's probably just because I'm interested in similar books. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed, and I hope that if you would like, you will hit the subscribe button or the like button or comment below.